It's been a long time. You thought you left me without a strong line to step to. Hey y'all, welcome back to Real Talk, Real Fathers, Real Men. It's been a long time. But now we're coming back bigger, better, more professional, better lights, better studios. We're gonna do this big this time, and we want y'all to join us on this journey. And this time we're gonna do it not with y'all just listen to me running my mouth. This time I'm gonna bring guests on. We can put you on the video with me, or you can even come in the studio with me, and we can sit down and talk about what's real. And today I have a special guest. He's sitting over there looking like he's 3 days out of prison. But he's actually a very professional, very smart dude, one of the smartest guys I know. He's a battle buddy from way back when. We started off, I used to beat him in everything. He can lie and tell you otherwise, but people who know from the 629/229 days in Baumholder and Anita Oberstein, they know who the man was. It was me, not Leroy Wright, okay? But Leroy Wright, he's the CEO of the Wright Improvement Group. He's also the author, and this is the reason why we're having him here today. He's the author of this new book coming out called The Bubble. I can't tell you the whole title because it hasn't been released yet, and so he won't let me do it, and he really think he can still try and beat me. He's also the facilitator, and y'all got to go check out his YouTube page at Constructive Talks. And he can talk more about Constructive Talks, but when you get over there, you see it's very well constructive and very well done. And so, like I said, while we're here, I introduce you the myth, the legend, the man. Now you tell my audience a little bit about yourself.
Oh wow! I say, hey, hello everybody. Thanks for joining. That's one. For two, me and Big Easy, we've been brothers for some decades, right? And like you said, we kind of started off in a competition, which that's what soldiers do. They compete. And he was definitely a nemesis. In every competition, I had to look up and here he comes. I'm like, all right, doggone, here he come again. He just won't go away. And I think one of the reasons that we competed so strongly against each other because we took each other to the next level. And it was usually 90% of the time him and I leading the groups to go against each other. So the people that was in our team on our teams, they would get it. They would get beat behind the curtain, right? Exactly.
I used to say, don't let nobody from 229 beat you.
Yeah. And one of the unique things, I'm the only reason I'm here is because the Real Talk, Real Fathers, Real Men platform. I think it's a critical thing that we need to speak to each other as men and as people that's wanting to change a generation. We have to have those conversations without bias. Okay, we need to have the conversations and really debate it to learn from it, not to say I won the conversation. Or not to say, I know more than you, but just to have it and open up and just get a little bit more information that we can make decisions on in our families or in our lives to be better. I think that old saying is know better, do better, right? So we'll be corny and say that,
Yeah, because in this format is no right answer. No answer is the right answer. No answer is the wrong answer. So, he may come on here and he may say, hey, the people on the background are black, and I may say, nah, those people are green. But the thing that you have to do, you have to dig in and discover what the real truth is, and with the real truth comes knowledge and growth. But that takes an open mind.
Yeah.
But enough about me, bro. Let's talk about this super book here ready to come out. I know right now it's gonna be a doozy. Let's talk about it.
one of the things I've kind of matured into is self-enlightenment for one, but the other one is a person should be happy with their lives and work towards that. And one of the things that we kind of are trapped in the never-ending cycle is conditioning, right? We're conditioned from birth, man. Disney World, Six Flags, or Cinderella, the kings, the queens, the two houses, the house, 2 kids, a dog, work hard, get retired. We're conditioned to go down a certain path. And usually that certain path is benefiting somebody else. Big business sort of kind of usually. Or people who are trying to benefit off our individual labor. So I just decided to look at us and look at people as individual bubbles. And saying that, I know it's kind of probably cliche. Don't let me burst your bubble, or don't burst my bubble, or these things like that. But I think it's a serious thing that if we pause for a moment and think about what drives us, most of that drive, or what we're driven about, is somebody else's goals or mission. Work hard. Let me work hard. Big business is going to benefit from that. Let me sacrifice. Everybody around you is going to benefit from that. And then when you say, whoa, let me take care of myself so I can sacrifice more, then that's usually an abomination statement. People don't want you taking time out for yourself.
So before you get away from when you was talking about these conditions, so when you say conditions, you mean, so I'm looking at TV and I see that I'm supposed to get a job, go to school, go to college, spend $100,000 on college, get out of college, marry a high school cheerleader, my high school sweetheart, and then get a job building widgets for the next 30 years, and at the end of those 30 years, I retire, get a gold watch, and then die. That's the conditions you're talking about.
Yeah, and be happy that you did that.
Yes.
Right? But we know that's not a Cinderella story. That's usually a scary movie, right? Because we have ups and downs. Ups and downs. We have times where we're alone. We have times where nobody cares. We have times where we're not successful. We have times where no matter how hard we try, we can't get ahead. And that's the scary movie within that conditioned Cinderella story we're supposed to live. So when we look at ourselves and we're not living what's portrayed in media or family internally, it's not a lot of success in that, because look at what we compared it to.
Yeah. So now how is the bubble going to help us get away from this type of thinking, this conditioning thinking that, okay, instead of getting us into, let's see, what can I put in my bubble to make me happy? To make my life more productive?
Well, the first core thing of the bubble is you can't care about anything outside of it. I know that might sound against everything we've been conditioned to believe, but one thing that is true as I see it, right, is that if you care about everything around you, that's taking all your energy first, right? It's going to just suck the energy up. And understand this, if we're feeding things around us, the things that we feed around us care more about getting fed than what's feeding them.
That's deep.
Okay? Deep. So what do I mean by that is, hey, as long as the food, and I'll say food, or as long as the energy, I'll say energy. As long as the energy is coming, hey, they just don't cut the energy off.
But now, what if people look at you and say, he sound like he's being selfish? So, because he don't care about nothing outside the bubble but yourself. Don't feed nothing outside the bubble. Everything you have goes to you. So
that's the addiction.
Yes.
That's them addicted to the energy you're giving them that they don't have to supply for themselves. Yes. Right? So as they get that fed, they feed it, and then what do we do when we're addicted to something? Hey, I want that, and we start getting withdrawal symptoms. So I'm going to go through any step, any process it takes to convince you why you should not stop giving me that energy. Now, guess what? I'm going to use guilt trip. I'm going to use, oh my God, I'm going to use anything that it takes for you to go back, lie in bed, and say, you know what? Let me sacrifice a little bit more and give them, because I've just been conditioned to believe that I'm supposed to just give. And we are.
Yes.
But we don't give to addictions, right? Because at some point, the folks that are feeding and eating, they gotta give back, right? They should give back something good. But hey, the society or the thing, the way it is today, as long as the good stuff coming, I'm just riding the wave.
Yeah, because even a flower, if you feed a flower, what a flower gonna eventually do, it's gonna give back. If it's not gonna give back a good smell, it's gonna give back a good view, But then we as humans, we get to the point where I'm in my bubble, and I decided like what's outside my bubble is more important to me. So I'm constantly feeding everything outside my bubble. And I call them bottom feeders. Once that bottom feeder has drained me completely, and I'm completely drained, that bottom feeder gonna do what? Gonna leech on to somebody else.
Correct, yeah, because they become professionals. They become really good at their craft, right? So now, and you mentioned two things. So you said the flower. So nature in the universe naturally gives back if the process is not interrupted, and if it's nurtured. It gives a fruit, it gives a look, it gives an environment you can breathe with air, right? Now, the unnatural process is just a burn and ash. Right?
Yeah.
That's the unnatural process, and that's what we've been conditioned to do as a society, is burning ash, no matter what. Now, guess what? So I can go into this look, big business, burning ash, take all the money from the little people and give back crumbs, right? Friends, family, loved ones. Hey, let me stay in this social group. Why? Because there's a few people they energize, they give the energy, and if I'm around them, they're my safety net. Right?
Yes.
Burning ash, right? Now, the natural process is, hey, as I inch up, you're going to inch up. And it's not an option.
Yes.
And I'm not going to ever let you feel that you don't have a way to always succeed.
So you mean the people the people that I allow in my bubble should be, as I feed outside my bubble, they should be feeding inside my bubble.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's
what feeds me, what I feed feeds me.
Correct. Exactly. Naturally, without request.
Yes.
Right.
Shouldn't have to ask, like if you and my in a bubble and I'm giving you this energy, I'm giving you this positive energy, I shouldn't have to tell you to tell me good morning in the morning and how was your day.
And if that's a relationship thing, correct. But also the thing could be knowledge, right? Get knowledge. So if I'm paying attention to you and I'm close to you, I see what you're seeking. I see what your ambitions are. And if I'm ambitious, a lot of this stuff is going to line up, because guess what feeds ambition? Being driven.
Yes.
Driven people know driven people, right? They can identify it, and they usually come together. But the unnatural part is for me to sit back and let you be driven and not benefit. That's unnatural. Because it causes a lot of pain.
So that's when it goes to I'm taken. And then eventually I'm not driven anymore because you done took my drive and you didn't do anything with it.
Correct. Yeah, so if you think about the bubble in that statement you just said, if I take all your drive, because I'm not doing anything with it, but it's allowing me to ride the wave, and that's the addiction thing again. I'm not going to get off this wave. I don't care who I have to get the energy from. Right? So I just like a plate, a paper plate. I use it to feed myself and I discard it. And I'm going to get another one and another one. And that's that burn and ash thing I talk about, that, that's abnormal. That's not normal. That's taught.
I just thought about something you said earlier when you brought that up. It goes back to, because you said the paper plate, and we're going to throw this in, and maybe you can put this in a book and say this was given by Big Easy. But we call it the paper plate versus the China plate theory.
Mm-hmm.
So people that you have in your inner bubble, you want them to be China.
Mm-hmm.
So when they finish eating off the plate, they clean that plate
Mm-hmm.
and they put it back in the cupboard or put it back in the bubble.
Yeah, 100%. That is
Versus
totally
the
true.
paper plate, I eat off of it and I throw it away.
The value is gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
And then eventually what ends up happening is you out of paper plates, you out of stuff to give.
Yeah. And how do you replenish that? You work.
Yes.
So that's taken from you. Then you work. Then you go purchase. Then you give again.
Yes.
And then it just disappears again, right? Yeah. So I think one of the unique things about the real talk, real fathers, real men, and constructive talks is that you have to have an open mind if you're going to listen to these channels. That's one. For two, you have to fight the cultural conditioning that we've been taught since birth to cling to. Once you kind of say, okay, well, let me open my mind and just listen a little bit. Let me just listen a little bit. Let me just listen a little bit. Then after a while, you'll be like, you know what? If I talk to myself, some of the things they talk about can help me, or it's truth, or it makes sense. It's kind of logical. That's all we want to do, is to stimulate logic and truth and feeling about you loving yourself.
Yeah, because just in the 5 minutes that we've been talking about the bubble, if you looking at this and you go back and you ask yourself, let me just look at people in my inner bubble. Because first of all, and because I done read excerpts from the book, so I know, like it's titles, for instance. So I look at people who have titles that I automatically place in my bubble, which isn't right. Are they paper plates or are they China plates? Are they using me as a paper plate or a China plate? Are they what significance are they serving in my life now? And so that's what I want in real talk. I want you to be able to, like you said, when you leave either my channel or your channel, after they listen, I want them to be able to go back afterwards and maybe play it back and think about it and start doing, like you said, talk to yourself or do a self-reflection of your life and grab a piece of paper and say, what's tearing me down and what's building me up? Mm-hmm. And things that's tearing you down, hey, sometimes you just got to go on it, as we used to say in the Army, you got to cut slang and move on,
Yeah. And part of it is just taking the time, small baby steps, because it's a challenge, especially if we look around to what we're surrounded by. It's abnormal to be abnormal, meaning it's abnormal for you to make sure that people around you automatically, unselfishly give and hold that and not negotiate with yourself.
Yeah, and elaborate more on unselfishly give. You find some people that has like this notepad. I brought you a new pair of shoes. I paid your rent this month. I did this for you. I did that for you. And they keeping stats.
Correct.
But if you're in my bubble, in my inner bubble, because it's different layers of the bubble, but if you're in that first layer of the bubble, I can't tell you the last time I did something for you. I can't. Because it's second nature. Mm-hmm. It's second nature. I don't even think about it. I see a need and I jump on the grenade.
Yeah.
But if you see something that, one, if you're going back asking people that's supposed to be in your inner bubble, you going back and you asking them constantly, I need this need fulfilled, then maybe you gave them the wrong title.
Yeah, titles are real, and that person don't want to be there.
Yeah.
That shows you that you're doing all the work to keep them there.
Yes.
And if you got to do labor to keep people around you, that might be something that needs to be considered if your time and energy is being used wisely. And I'm not being, mean as cultural conditioning would say I am, or selfish, but man, we get one life to live and we don't get a redo. And I say that because we get say-so in our moments each day. We get say-so. And cultural conditioning would have us say, hey, just throw your head in the ground, don't worry about it, it'll be all right later. Well, guess what? Later is time consumed. They don't come back.
Yes.
And one thing I know, man, I know this for a fact, that humans adjust. We've adjusted all our lives. And if humans would continue to adjust, and I think with those micro improvements or those micro decisions, you account to see. You got to test the fence. Now, I'm not saying be malicious or anything. I'm saying your natural way. But it has to be identified when your energy needs to be reprioritized.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if you are spelling all this energy, and I don't want to leave that too soon. One thing he said is, if you forcing somebody to be in your bubble, they're not in your bubble. They're gone anyhow. They've been gone a long time ago. It's just they're just going through the motions, just shadow boxing. That's what they're doing I'm here, shadow defense. I'm there. Just enough to say, well, okay, is this person really in my life? Is this person really in my bubble? And I don't want people to confuse this with when I'm talking about relationships. This everybody. This sons, daughters, mothers, work everywhere. Mm-hmm. You could be at work, just coming to work, just giving them 179% every week, and they're not putting anything back into your future. They're draining your energy.
And so think about what you said though. So if a person, or in this, like he said, work, in the streets, in the mall, in your house, or somebody else's house, if you have to do work to keep it lively, what better could you use that energy for? Self-education? Mentorship, learning a new course, self-improvement, meditation. See, this is all consideration. This is what the bubbles talk about. Hey, it's no definite answer like Big E said in the beginning. There's no definite right or wrong answer, but there are a lot of consideration questions for an individual to take consideration and just say, hey, you know what? Man, I expend energy, I get things done, and guess what? I'm going to start making sure everybody I associate with do the same thing. Yes. You get that choice.
Yes.
Now guess what? You might do it small because, like I said, the addiction is real. Man, you might be the biggest, craziest enemy on the planet just because you're preserving your life that you have to live and having say so.
Yeah, because and I think, and I don't want people to get confused is when you're saying that you're not just talking about cutting back physical things. I mean, emotionally.
Correct.
You're talking about emotionally cutting back. I mean, that's not saying, okay, you're in my bubble, and all of a sudden I realize that you're taking more than you're giving. So, okay, you got to move out of my house. Mm-hmm. No, that's not what I see it as. I see it as, okay, emotionally, I'm giving you all this energy, but I see I ain't getting the energy back. So, hey, look, I'm going to just, pull my energy back and devote my concentration onto things where I can grow mentally, where I can grow physically. If there's nothing else, if now I'm going to take, like, if I'm at work and I've been coming into work 30 minutes early, leaving 30 minutes later, but I'm not getting that same energy back, I'm gonna take this 30 minutes. I'm gonna go to the gym.
Correct. That's right.
I'm gonna take this 30 minutes when I leave early and just go read a book. If I don't do nothing but just sit outside in my car before I start driving, reading a book. So when you remove because you got to release that person from your bubble.
Yeah, or just let's say event.
Okay.
Let's call it release the event. You got to reassess the event.
Okay.
Right? Because like I said, you don't get time back. And it's not being dismissive, it's not being seclusive or reclusive, it's not being where you don't respect or appreciate effort. You do all those things. But you do get a say-so in how much energy you put in them. Right? You know, one of the most critical things that I can think of, well, I ain't gonna say critical, one of the coolest things I can think of is try to clear your mind. I would say that go through each day in the craziest part of your day or the most busiest part of your day, clear your mind and think. And this is what, they say always give call to action. This is what I challenge everybody to do before they open their mouth or make a decision or do anything. Any information you're getting in, be it verbal, visual, whatever, make sure you listen. Okay, listen through your ears or eyes or whatever you're doing, and think about your response or think about the information being given and how it needs to be processed. And then you only speak or take action if you're going to do something constructive with it. If you're not, everything doesn't call for a response.
Y'all better write that one down. No. Y'all better write that one down. That's a gym.
No.
Just keep your mouth shut. You know, that goes back to what your mama used to say. Don't say nothing. If you can't say nothing good, don't say nothing at all.
Correct.
And sometimes silence is more deadly than vocal.
It is. It's always more deadly because nobody knows how to react.
Yes.
Right. So that's kind of a little snippet of what the bubble has in this conversation. And we'll be coming back on Constructive Talks LRW on YouTube, and Facebook actually. And, Big Easy, Real Talk, Real
Men. Yeah. Like I said, and if you want to be a guest on the show, just let me know. One thing I want to bring up about Constructive Talks, if you want your family history put in on where that always be there. That's one thing Constructive Talk do here. Go back in your history and sit down and talk to you about your history, where you can pass this on to your family members. And one thing about Real Talk, Real Fathers, Real Man, I'm not here to put myself here, and I'm not here to put you there, because money don't make the man. Education don't make the man. And that's what we're going to talk about. And believe it or not, this joke got me writing a book. So, I'm working on it, and eventually my book will be out, and we will go more in depth. But the easiest way to find us, man, is out here on social media, and we'll be talking about, how can we take this next generation and take them to the next level. And when I talk about real talk, that includes everybody. When I talk about real fathers, that includes mothers. When I talk about real men, that includes women also. It's got to be collective, because it's a lot of things that we need to pass on to this next generation, because either you're part of the problem or you're part of the solution. So,
that's a good one.
In closing, what you have to say before we get out of here, big guy?
Go to my YouTube channel, have fun. Hey, like and subscribe. I'm going to add a little bit of snippets from this interview that Big Easy's doing, and let's have fun.
Hey, man, I'm here, man. I'm back. Bigger, better. We're gonna open one mind at a time, baby. That's what we're gonna do. Because if we can open one mind, hey, that's it. So this your boy Big Easy. This my battle buddy Lee. And you'll be seeing us here from time to time.
Peace.
We out.
All right. Okay, that's my first ever Facebook Live thing.
I think that was pretty good, man, because you know, we was able to ask questions and you know, I think that was cool, man.